She's talking
I'm a
about
socialist.
concentration camps. You're a socialist?
Yes.
Okay, you know socialism has never worked. What socialism are you in favor for? Here we go. Get ready.
I believe that...
Take a system.
A system?
Take a system in the world that you're in favor of.
Well...
That you would rather be our system.
I just don't want it to be capitalism. Nor do I want it to be...
take a system that has worked, that you like, and would like to replicate here.
Capitalism.
Take a system, please. That has been proven to work in any country, anywhere. That is better than our system, please.
Capitalism...
Yeah, please.
Not...
Okay, that's great. Yes, you have your talking points. That's wonderful. Now pick a system that has worked anywhere, better than here, that you would rather have.
Well,
I'm waiting for it.
Your definition of better is not valuing the intrinsic value.
I don't give a fuck about my definition, your definition. I'm asking you to choose. Don't cater to my definition.
And I'm choosing socialism.
No. Yeah, but pick it. Pick another country that has worked.
Unfortunately, we are an imperialist.
Never tried real socialism, I bet you.
Imperialism is hurting those socialist countries.
It hurt the USSR?
It's hurting
Weren't they imperialist?
Cuba and Venezuela. Yeah, the blockades that we're doing for the
for what
oil.
It's worth, oil production dramatically fell after the state took control of Venezuela, and it hurt their economy dramatically well before our embargo. You might be right about Cuba, but no, Venezuela did it themselves before we embargoed. Timeline-wise, so you're just wrong. They had a slush fund coming in when it was collecting taxes from the private enterprise.
What I'm not wrong about is the fact
That's
that
great. So what system,
capitalism
please? Okay, I just asked what her job was. Here we go. Please, pick a system. One place that according to your values you would rather do.
New York.
That's not socialist. That's the most capitalist place in the world.
But Mamdani is out there doing
He's democratic socialist.
Yeah.
Socialist.
Yeah.
He still believes in capitalism. You know that, right?
Start somewhere.
No. That is still capitalist. All his policies are funded on the tax revenue generated by capitalism. That's capitalism. That is not worker-based socialism. Taxes come from the capitalist state still. So no, that is not socialist. But if that's what you'd like to see, then don't call yourself a socialist, because that's not socialist. That's still capitalism. That's more Scandinavian. That's European, which is still funded on capitalist systems. I was hoping you were going to say something like Sweden or the UK. I was hoping you were going to say something like that, which are still objectively capitalist countries.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it funny how things turned out, or should I say pathetic? Watch this. A socialist girl gets asked a simple question. Name one single successful socialist system in history that actually worked. One. And she completely falls apart. Stuttering, laughing nervously, deflecting, changing the subject, the whole meltdown. Classic. Then comes the greatest hits of leftist excuses. It's not real socialism. It was sabotaged by imperialism, the US blockade, outside interference. Bro, we've heard the script 1,000 times. Let's start with Cuba. They always cry about Batista and the evil American embargo. Yeah, Batista was no saint, corrupt dictator. But here's what they never tell you. Before Castro took over in 1959, Cuba was one of the wealthiest countries in Latin America. It had a strong economy, one of the best healthcare and education systems in the region, booming tourism, and people actually wanted to move to Cuba. After full-blown communism, decades of rationing, empty shelves, political prisons, and families risking death on homemade rafts just to escape to Florida. And guess what? Cuba trades with pretty much the entire rest of the world. China, Russia, Europe, everyone. The embargo isn't some magic force keeping them poor. Central planning, no incentives, government owning everything. That's what destroyed it. Same story with Algeria. After they won their independence, they went hard socialist with tons of Soviet money, advisors and support. Nationalized everything, one-party state, central economic control. The full package. What happened? Economic collapse, massive inefficiency, corruption, and repeated crisis. Outside interference didn't force them to pick a system that kills productivity and crushes freedom. The ideology did that all by itself. This is the eternal cope. Every single time socialism is tried, Russia, China, Cambodia, Venezuela, Ethiopia, you name it, it fails. And suddenly there's always a new bogeyman to blame. Never the system, never the complete disrespect for human nature, private property, and individual incentives. Here's something most people don't know, but it's absolutely brutal. Stalin's Holodomor in Ukraine in the early 1930s, Soviets wanted to force collectivization, taking all the land and farms from the people and giving control to the state. The Ukrainian farmers resisted, so Stalin deliberately engineered a famine. They confiscated every single grain of food, blocked roads so no aid could get in, and let millions starve to death. Estimates say between 3.5 to 7 million Ukrainians died in just a couple of years. They even banned talking about it. Parents eating grass, children dying in the streets. All because the communist state demanded total control. That's not a mistake. That's what happens when you give government God-like power over food and life. And that's just one chapter. Over 100 million people died under communist regimes in the 20th century. From the killing fields in Cambodia to the gulags. The great leap forward in China. The body count is insane. Meanwhile, capitalism, even with all its flaws, has lifted billions out of poverty, created the technology and medicine we all use, and given regular people more freedom and opportunity than any socialist experiment ever has. So when she's sitting there unable to name even one successful socialist country, and all she can do is blame America, that tells you everything. Socialism doesn't fail because of imperialism. It fails because it's built on fantasy instead of reality. Common sense says, stop romanticizing systems with mountains of corpses. Protect what actually works. Put your own people and your own country first.